All right. All right, meeting will come to order. Score, will you call the roll?
Ms. Conley? Dr. Viox? Mr. Benjamin?
Present.
Mr. Dunn?
Present.
Ms. Barnes?
Present.
Thank you. We will, if you will, stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silence. Ms. Barnes, will you lead us in the pledge?
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The score, any citizens' comments? All right, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Mr. Dunn,
Second.
second by Ms. Barnes. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, the motion passes. We'll move on to reports. Chairman's report, just a few things that I want to cover that most of you are already aware of, but we had a great time at TSBA. Good time. I think we were the best group there. Pretty sure.
A second.
Yes, yes. Motion carries. It was, we'll brag a little bit on Dr. Viox because I thought he did a great job presiding over all the things going on. He was running from left to right and front to back the entire time we were there, but I thought he did a great job. It was good to his campaign, I Am for Public Education, that I know a lot of people had a hand in as well. Was fantastic. I thought it was really highlighting public education. I love the way that ACS got highlighted. I know, Dr. Clark, you're going to talk about that during your report, but I love the getting to see our students perform there and just be a part of it. I love that they made the trek. Dr. Clark, it was good to have you there with us this year for your first one. And so that was just really, really good. I know for us to be a system for, I guess this is our 11th year of being a school system, I was very impressed by just all the ACS accolades and things like that. So it was really cool, for sure. Ms. Cora, will you let the record show that Ms. Conley has joined us? Thank you. It's all right. Glad you're here. So yeah, it was a big showcase for Arlington. Good to spend time with each of you. I'll say that personally. It was good to spend time with each of you there. I think it was good for us as well to be together on this trip, and so I was really, really glad to do that. Wrestling season starts this week, which I'm pretty excited about. I do like to call it wrestling because that's what I grew up with, but it's different from wrestling, I've learned. I remember a few years ago, back when Tammy Mason was the superintendent, she grabbed me after a board meeting and said, "Have you ever been to a wrestling match here?" And I'm like, "Wrestling?" She's like, "No, you just need to come with me." And she like drugged me into the other gym at the high school. And I got hooked on it, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is fantastic!" And so, if you haven't been to a wrestling match, I highly encourage you to go attend some. Those dudes are incredible in wrestling, and so I would highly encourage you to go. Thursday night at 6, they open with their first match of the season. So highly encourage you to look at those. I found 3 that I know that I can go to at home. They got a lot on the road. I don't know why that's. Do you know why that's the case, Dr. Clark?
It just happens with the rotation of the year.
Okay.
You know, you'll see, like, I felt like football, we had a lot in the beginning at home, and then it tapered off away.
Yeah.
And then, like, the middle school, they have a lot of basketball away, and then it'll be home. And
Yeah.
then wrestling, we have at home. So
Yeah.
it's just a rotation.
Just the way it happened, just kind of the way it felt, yeah. So anyway, I'm excited about that for sure. Thanksgiving lunches, all of you got emails, I would assume, about Thanksgiving lunches at one of the different schools and stuff. So if you can make those, I think it's always a good thing. It's another opportunity for us to be in the schools, some things that we've talked about as part of our own or things that we want to do, be in them a little bit more throughout this year. And so if you can make those, That'll be good. We've certainly been invited to all those. December 14th is the Arlington Christmas Parade. And so our Teachers of the Year will be in that parade. They'll be riding in the back of my truck. We're awful trusting at ACS to trust me and Mrs. Benjamin to drive some very important people, because Mrs. Benjamin will be driving our superintendent in Mrs. Benjamin's car. So, whew,
We have our liability
no
forms,
pressure here.
waivers
No
signed.
pressure here. Yeah. I'm gonna need y'all to sign some liability
Liability
waivers
waivers
to
for
get in
sure.
our vehicles. Anyway, they'll all be in the Christmas parade, which is December 14th, and so that'll be a fun time. Our band's in it, and a lot of people from ACS, so that'll be a good thing. And then just make sure you mark December 13th on your schedule. That's our board and staff Christmas party. So make sure you get that in your calendar. That'll be a good time as well. All right, that concludes my report. We'll move on to superintendent's report. Dr. Clark.
Thank you. Yes, great appreciation to Dr. Viox and the amount of work he did was coordinating that TSBA convention. He did an outstanding job. But also, we need to recognize that Mr. Scott Benjamin was recognized at the prestigious All Tennessee School Board by the TSBA. So just to share a little bit about this honor, it reflects his exemplary leadership, dedication to education, commitment to board development, local improvement, and the advocacy of all levels. And I can truly share with you, working with him every day, this is exactly our conversations fill right into those accolades. He's very passionate for student success and the community progress, so congratulations to Mr. Benjamin for that.
Thank you, Dr. Clark.
Also, we were very, as Mr. Benjamin shared, we were very proud of our students. When you see the students, that's our product. And they were unbelievable. Ava Kessel is a 6th grade student at Arlington Middle School. She sang a cappella the national anthem. It was just chilling. And then our Arlington High School, JROTC, they presented the colors at the opening session. And then the AHS A Major chorus, they were very impressive, and they did a beautiful performance as well. What was very unique is we had our president and vice president of our student council at Arlington High School. That was Noah Sershin and Abby Krona, and they shadowed Dr. Viox that whole time. So they really, what they shared with me, they had no idea what this board does in advocating public education for them. And Noah was our first student journalist. He works underneath Mr. Hill through his work-based learning. So he was our first student journalist, and you probably saw the interview. If you didn't, I'd encourage you to look at the interview that he conducted on Dr. Viox at the TSBA, and it was on Instagram. Also, once again, I was an very ACS proud mama last week at the Arlington Chamber luncheon. A lot of you were there. Well, the students took center stage. And so a special shout out again to Michael Anderson, Kennedy Jennings, Noah Sershin, Grayson Brandt, and Lila Murchison, who represented ACS very well. They shared and highlighted what we are doing every single day, teachers, administrators, support staff, even all of us at district office that are in direct impact, really, and preparing them for their post-secondary goals. And that really was communicated very clearly. People were very impressed with what these students are receiving in our school district.
Dr. Clark, if I might, just for a second,
sure.
about the 2 students that were with us at TSBA, so I also serve on the state board as well, and so they came to a lot of our state board meetings that we had while we were at TSBA, and so they're sitting there with people from all over the state, and just very impressive young people, just extremely impressive in how they handle themselves, to be sitting in meetings, board meetings and things, and to not look like they're distracted, even if they might have been. It was just really cool because I'm like, man, they just are such impressive people, and to stand up there. And then, if I might as well, for the Chamber of Commerce, I really appreciated the way that you you didn't take the center stage and you didn't stand and talk for 40 minutes, that you really wanted to highlight these other students. And again, they were so impressive in a room full of people that they had no idea who any of them were. They stepped up and didn't skip a beat. They didn't stutter. They didn't stammer. They didn't do anything but just except be very impressive for ACS. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that because we have to remember every day it's about them.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's about them. So everything we do and in supporting our staff goes directly into them.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that.
I just want to say too that it's really awesome for them to tell our story. And because they're in the middle of it, and for them to share information and perform like they did at TSBA and, you know, in other places at the new Kroger, you know, it's just great.
And what's, I think, so wonderful is they are a sampling of what we have, because I've been having, this week, I've done with some student groups, lunch with superintendent. And so far, I've worked with a group of fifth grade students at Arlington Elementary School, having lunch with them, and the Arlington High School Student Council, and that's a different group. And it is just so impressive at the different ages, how they communicate what they love about the district, what's great. They love their teachers, they love the programs, and then they share in a very mature way some things we could tweak, and it is like tweak, but they're achievable and they're reasonable. And it's just the reassurance that they're gonna be able to come out of high school, even from the fifth grade on, and be able to articulate and communicate needs and suggestions, and also know how to complement things and handle themselves well. So they're just so impressive. And it's, like I said, it's a sampling, and then when you go to another group, you see the same type of communication, maturity level. And so I love seeing it and love working with them, being around them. The Q2 celebration is coming up. I sent that information out to you, so you need to sign up if you want a lunch.
I've already signed up, Dr. Clark.
I'm so proud of
We
you.
saw Chick-fil-A.
Did you-
Chick-fil-A, I'm
Sold
like,
down
where do I
there.
sign up?
But did you
At all three
kind of
schools.
go ahead and, yes, sign up for more than one?
You don't mind if I go to all the sites, do you?
Go for it. That's December the 9th through the 12th. Just to really still continue to recognize the schools. You know, we had the Veterans Day throughout the district. We either had programs or celebrations. Unfortunately, we weren't able to be a part of that because we were at TSBA, but I've heard some glowing feedback from community members as well as just parents that they had wonderful performances at AMS and DES, and the other schools did have some great recognition for the veterans, because it's important that our students understand the meaning of veterans and appreciate the service that men and women have given to our country and continue to give to our country. So I appreciate the schools making those events and those celebrations take place. Couple of other ones, DES STEM Night, they had over 60% of the students participate and bring their parents, and I visited that, and that was a really neat, unique way that you did it with your theme, and it's very engaging. And then last night, AES hosted a bingo, grandparents bingo night. They had a great crowd of participation. It was really neat, and I like to see that interaction, that connection between the grandparents and the child. So it's fabulous what our schools do and the extra work they do beyond that school day. And those students in those student groups recognize that extra work, and they love those programs. I'm very proud to announce that the Arlington High School Model UN will be attending the prestigious Harvard Mock Congress in February 2025. This is going to be supported by the Legacy Grant. And then also this weekend, they'll be attending a conference and a competition in Murfreesboro. And I will tell you that these students are very talented. They're sponsored by Mr. McDonald, and he will represent them at that event as a sponsor. But I want to take a moment. She doesn't want me to do this, but I think it's important. Miss Valerie Speakman has been working with that group She handles her job during the day, and she goes and she works with that group. And I think that is so neat because she has an expertise that she can really help those students. And then she's getting to touch and reach out to those students too. And she's serving as a role model. I mean, there's some young ladies that want to grow up and be Miss Speakman. So I just think that's fabulous. Fabulous. Is there anything you want to share with that, Miss Speakman? Because I know you've bragged about those young people.
I just wanted you to know that the kids that are doing this aren't necessarily the ones that are in the football team and the cheer group and the whatever. And they found, because of you guys, they found a niche that, they wouldn't have otherwise been able to, make a big showing, that, and they're just so proud of themselves, and I'm so proud of them, and they're just the coolest kids, and they've all got personal stories that would honestly, just bring you to tears, and they're just so special, and thank you so much for, finding a way to let them shine.
Because that trip to Harvard comes with a price tag. And some of those students would not be able to attend if it wasn't for the Legacy Grant.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I think that's very heartwarming that we're able to do that. And so that just concludes what I have to say, because I want to thank you to everyone, the board for being very supportive, the schools, the administration, central office staff. It takes all of us. It takes the A team to make this all happen, and I appreciate that. There's a few people from the executive staff that would like to make a report tonight. I think Miss Lisa Walker is maybe the one and only.
I just have some staffing updates for you. Currently, we have 2 open positions. One is a 7th grade math position at the middle school, and the other one is a special ed assistant at AES due to a retirement. And then attendance rate, we're at 96% for our employee attendance rate. The substitute fill rate is at 90%. However, I just onboarded 11 new substitute teachers. And so now we have a total of 96, and 28 of them are certified. And of that 28, 6 are serving in long-term interim assignments. And then we scheduled our retirement meeting for December 12th at 4:30 here at the boardroom. That's it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I don't believe there's anyone else that needed from the executive staff need to make a report. Good, okay. So that concludes my report, Mr. Benjamin.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. We will move on to our legislative liaison. Mr. Dunn.
Yes, so no report for tonight. However, I will tell you that in speaking to Ms. Valerie Speakman, the bills are being filed, one of which I know that will be intriguing for us to keep a pulse on is this new voucher bill has been filed already. There's articles being published where you could go and just Google and you can read probably all you want. And then we're working currently on our legislative agenda, and that's in progress, and we'll report out on that here soon.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I will move to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
I move.
Motion by Ms. Conley,
Second.
second by Mr. Dunn. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. I'll move to our business recommended action items. We will start with 7A. Dr. Clark.
7A, I am asking recommendation for the board to award the RFQ for construction manager at risk for the Arlington High School football field house addition to Chris Woods Construction, and to approve the contract for the same amount of $8,532,920 and contingency of $500,000.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Conley,
Second.
second by Mr. Dunn. Is there any discussion? Dr. Clark, you want to talk about this a little bit? I
I
know
have
we have some people here. So.
highlights, and also we have Grant Mills and Michael Winter, so they could share more, but I'll share the highlights, and we can ask them any detailed questions if we need to.
Yep.
The square footage is 21,000. The project projected to start in March 2025, so we're finishing up softball and hope to start football, and that will go through February 2026. There'll be coaches' offices, coaches' conference room that would look over the field. We have a weight room that's 6,500 square feet, a locker room, acceleration area, a referee's changing room, and then an athletic training room are some of the highlights of the project. You have a book in front of you, the RFQ.
Yeah, is there can you tell me where it is exactly that we can see it later? Which one is that?
This is tab, what? 4?
Tab 4. I just want to see where some of this is laid out. I know there's been a few iterations of this. How does this fit in with our scoreboard and things like that? You guys want to, yeah.
Michael.
Good afternoon, board members. Michael Winter, 4F Design. I don't know if you have this slide in your packet, but the building will be positioned immediately on the south end of the south end zone, and it will be hugging the scoreboard, if you will. So we've incorporated a plaza area into the scoreboard.
Okay.
Yes, we're supposed to go like somewhere in here.
Dr. Clark has an exhibit that may clarify.
Yeah, I don't think I see, no, that's not it there.
Yeah, it's on what he just provided me.
Oh, well,
Yeah, okay, that's the one that I was actually.
yeah,
Here's, it says it on detail.
shows the working area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's clearly a very tight site, but we're paying very close attention to the utilities. We also know there's some fiber and other infrastructure in that area. But we're investigating that and having some additional surveying done to make sure that we can avoid those columns and the infrastructure around that during construction.
Yeah. So the scoreboard will be in, I'm assuming, obviously in front of where this is that what happens?
That's correct.
Okay.
And I don't know if y'all have any of the elevations, but you can tell there's a larger mass that's kind of to the right of the scoreboard as you're looking at it. And behind the scoreboard would be the majority of the locker rooms and other kind of ancillary facilities that are in a little bit more of a lower slung part of the building.
Yeah, okay. And then you want to see that, Lyle? We talk a little bit about each section of that, just because, again, for whatever reason, I'd just love to hear that from you. Each section of like how it's laid out.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
talked
grab
about
my
that just a
floor
little bit.
Just so I can make sure I don't miss anything.
Sure.
So in the area to the left on the plan, that's the weight room and the acceleration training area. So it's the large volume with the glass. It'll look out over the field, which I think will be very energetic, both as students are working out during the day, but also at night during the football game. There's also a mezzanine component to that area, which will have part of a viewing area for student athletes and also a team meeting room in the corner that'll kind of overlook the football field, which again, I think provides a lot of energy both during the day and during a football game. And then on the right side, kind of behind the scoreboard area, there'll be coaches' offices. There'll be the referee changing room that Dr. Clark mentioned. There's a training room, which is where they do all the taping and things like that. It'll also have a hot and cold tub. We're still working through some of the details. There's a coach's locker room, and then there's a large student locker room with a number of lockers, about over 100 lockers, and then of course the toilets and the laundry area for the student athletes. And of course there's equipment storage and other things like that that are kind of the ancillary functions of the building.
Where would the team exit the building, like, say, on a Friday night?
So right now, our plan is for them to go right out of the building, which would be the end of the building, and then go back into the field from the kind of southeast corner.
So go out and then up the sidewalk, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
There's also a set of two gates in front of the scoreboard.
That's correct. We're gonna rework some of the gates.
Kind of wrap around the east edge of the scoreboard, but there'll be another set of gates that kind of line up behind that will kind of line up behind the goalpost, so to speak, right behind the scoreboard as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Michael, we also have that, basically the plaza concrete area that wraps around the scoreboard area and gives you a concrete plaza that wraps around the scoreboard area as well.
And is that sectioned off with the field house itself, so you won't have future Tigers running around in the front of that, like during the games and things like that? So they won't have access to get to the building, I guess, is a better way
Yes,
to
sir,
say
that's
that
correct.
maybe?
So everything will be outside of that fence,
Okay.
outside the track area.
So you'll exit and then come back in front of the scoreboard to get onto the field, okay. And all that will be enclosed within itself, so we're not pushing through people, we're not pushing through anything, it's closed off to itself, okay. All right, good. Well, you will see that. And start date is planned, I know obviously we have to deal with a lot of things with MLG&W and permits and all that kind of stuff like that. What's the projected time for that?
We're still, so hoping to start construction in early 2025.
Early 2025, okay. And projected to end
Like 26.
February 2026, okay. Okay, cool.
And we have some meetings with the town tomorrow to talk through a few details, so that's, having some ongoing discussions with them, which I'm very encouraged by.
Okay, good. Any pushback from the town?
No, and that's kind of our intention. We're trying to be a little bit more proactive. That way we can kind of get some early feedback on some issues that they've had, so we can incorporate that into the plans,
Yeah.
final plans.
And it doesn't push back past the end of the, like into the parking area or anything like that?
No,
Stays
sir.
all short of that, okay.
That's exactly right. So very, very tight site, which is why
Yeah.
kind of the shape of the building is
Yeah.
maybe a little bit unusual, but
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
yeah, we do too. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really like that.
Great.
And no showers.
I thought we-
This
yeah,
is
we-
like the most bizarro thing to
We do
me.
have a couple of showers, but it
Okay.
is a fading trend. In recent schools, we've done, 6, 8 showers, and then we find out later on they become storage facilities. So it's something that's kind of a changing trend.
This is bizarre. This is bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Like to play an entire football game and get in your car?
Right, right.
Zimmer's
So-
no shower.
We do have 2 showers. There is a contingency there, but our experience is they're not used, especially at the scale that we
That's
have
what I
been
hear.
providing them. Yeah, unusual. So
I'm like, seriously?
maybe we'll have some cans of Axe to spray around.
That's right, that's
Yeah,
right.
Axe body spray, has that replaced the
That's the-
shower now?
Pretty much.
We'll budget
Yep.
for that.
That's right. That's right. That may have to come out of the legacy grant for more Axe.
Those boys don't have any girlfriends, you know?
Good. I appreciate you answering those questions. Any other questions, board, or any other comments about that at all?
No, I thought the renderings I've seen, which showed the interior and some of those things, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Awesome.
Same brick design that matches the rest of the high school, is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's
Okay.
correct. So we'll be using the same masonry material that we use on the softball building, and then also it's on the indoor training facility, and then also complementary brick from the rest of the campus. But it'll be primarily the tan color, not yellow, Ms. Speakman and Mr. Hill.
Tan over yellow is a good choice.
That's a little bit of a running joke. We're trying to get rid of the yellow brick that's around the
Good.
campus.
So,
Yeah, which I think is a more tailored look, if I can say so myself.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with that. What about, is there signage, I saw one Tiger, I think, logo What is that, is there additional signage for that, backside of that, or anything at all like that?
So our current plan is to have a backlit A in the top corner of that metal panel wrap, which I think would be pretty cool. But our other idea is to incorporate some film on the windows to have a super graphic that spells out Tigers. And again, the idea is when that's backlit during a football game, that'll become something that's really prominent from the football field.
Yeah, okay.
So we're trying to incorporate a lot of the ACS branding and try to be creative about how we approach that.
That's great.
Good, like that. Awesome. Anything else, board?
That's great.
Thank you, board members. Appreciate your support.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. All right, seeing no more discussion, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion passes. That's a big one.
That was good.
That's good. We'll go to, item 7B. Approval of, I guess I'll do this one. Sorry. You don't want to do your own, Dr. Clark?
Well, if you
Approval
told
of
me
the
to, I would.
superintendent's, that's right, performance evaluation instrument. And so, I will, so 7B is approval of superintendent's performance evaluation instrument. You have all seen that.
Yes.
And, we have passed that out, so I will ask for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Barnes.
Second.
Second by Ms. Conley. Any discussion? The only thing that I'll say about it is I'm glad we were able to put that together. I was glad that we all had an opportunity to look at that, peruse that, do some specific things that Dr. Clark and I had talked about, that were very specific for her and the objectives and goals that we have for her. And so I think this will be a good tool for us to work through. I know we're a little bit late to the game, but we've talked about a lot of this stuff along the way.
Right.
Dr. Clark, you and I have talked about a lot of this stuff along the way, before we actually got the tool into play. So thanks for your patience and
Sure, thank
allowing
you.
us to put this together. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. All right,
Awesome.
good deal. We're adjourned.
Oh, there you go. Easy peasy.